Couples that argue stay together, and here's why. I know, all we hear about is how you shouldn't fight, you gotta be careful, and never go to bed mad. By the way, never go to bed mad is really dumb advice, because here's how people misinterpret it. They're arguing, it's night, they're tired, it's 10 p.m., and they're like, well, we can't go to bed mad, so we have to solve the problem. And then they end up arguing in repetitive, painful circles till 3 a.m. Nobody gets any sleep. Sometimes going to bed mad's a good idea. And here's how you do it. You go up to your sweetheart, you say, we're not gonna solve this tonight, we're both upset, we gotta just sleep on it, I love you, but I think I need to sleep in the other room. And then you wake up in the morning, you immediately go to the primary room and you slide in with your sweetheart, you say, hi honey, good morning. So there's one example of how arguing is actually good for your relationship. Well, arguing till 3 a.m. and not going to bed mad is bad for your relationship. Okay, still, this is a controversial idea. Right? Couples that argue stay together. Here's why. Conflict is natural. It's going to happen. You're going to see things differently. You're different than me. I'm different than you. If we never have conflict, it means we're avoiding the issues we need to resolve. They can grow up pebble by pebble until you've got a mountain between you and your sweetheart, and you can't talk about anything. Couples who argue also tend to be shown in research as feeling closer to each other if they argue well. I'm going to talk about that in a second. That the act of arguing or having a disagreement or seeing things different and having the courage to talk it through, to understand what I call the other side of the clock, leads you to understand your partner better and feel closer to them. Imagine I have a clock and you're looking at the clock face. That's your perspective. There's Roman numerals and 12 dials and all the things. But if I flip that clock around the other way, it's got a black back on it and no numbers, and you see it differently. That's what I mean by the other side of the clock. Very simply, you and your partner won't have the same perspective if you can't learn to argue in a healthy way and describe your own perspective so your partner goes, oh, that's what you mean. And you listen to their perspective so you say, oh, that's what you mean. You're in trouble. You're either going to avoid arguing or big problem, big red flaming flag, you're going to not fight fair. Here's the caveat I said I was going to get to. Great couples argue. Arguing can predict health of a relationship. It can predict staying together, but not if you fight dirty. You can look at some of my previous videos. We'll link to a couple of them below for some of the really destructive fighting styles. I did one about a month ago on defensiveness. It's not my fault, it's your fault. You're always picking on me. You might want to watch that one. There's also 4 predictors of divorce. If you fight with nasty personal criticism, if you fight with contempt, where you put your partner down like they're a lowly worm and you're superior to them, if you are defensive, witness the one I just mentioned, we'll link you to below, and if you just will not participate. It's called stonewalling in the lingo. You won't engage, you walk out of the room, you flick on the TV or pick up your phone. Instead of talking to your spouse, you're in trouble. The take-home message is pretty simple. Great couples argue, but they learn to fight fair. They learn how to, in the end, maybe step away, take a time out, calm down, like Will Smith should have done. You saw that one a couple weeks ago, and come back together. They learn to respect that you're not going to agree with me, and I'm not going to agree with you about everything. You learn to not be certainly verbally abusive or use some of these divorce predicting fighting styles. You argue in a healthy way. Ideally, maybe you become so good at this, you don't even argue in a healthy way. You have spirited discussions in a healthy way. So there you go. There's a lot of myths out there. And one of them is, great couples don't argue, or if you raise your voice when you argue, you're in trouble. None of that's true. What's true, it's how you argue that matters. Learning how to fight fair is a critical predictor of success and happiness and closeness. And yeah, it also affects your sex life. Nobody really wants to make love if you've had a nasty, unfair argument and said cruel, unkind things to each other. So there you go. Here we are in the second of our 5-step series on the top love and sex questions that you bring to me or to any other love and sex therapist. Next week, I got another one coming your way. We've got 5 of them in this series because we're all in this together. If you're in a relationship, you struggle some of the time. I do too. The great news is that there are science-based findings, tips and techniques and tools you can learn bit by bit to apply. Most of us, it takes a lot of work. It's like getting really fit after surgery. When you've lost a lot of your baseline fitness, you're not going to be fit after 2 trips to the gym and learning what you're supposed to do. It's the practicing that matters. That's what my work's about. That's what these free video and written love bites are about. If you have a friend who might appreciate some relationship advice, let them know they can sign up for these free lovely love bites coming your way every Tuesday. And also, in a few months, this fall, I'll be once again offering my signature 10-week immersion couples therapy for the few of you who really want to master these techniques in a 10-week program with me. I hope some of you will join me this fall for that. And in the meantime, keep making love intentional, one breath, one kiss at a time.